So the iPhone 17 Pro Max is the best iPhone you can buy right now. But the real question is, how does it compare to Samsung's Galaxy S25 Ultra, a phone that many call the most complete package of 2025? Well, let's get into it. What's up guys, Sal here. So starting with the design, the S25 Ultra clearly takes the edge. It's thinner, lighter, and that makes the in-hand feel noticeably better. Add that to a cleaner, more refined look, and it's no contest. Apple really stumbled this year. The iPhone 17 Pro Max has a weird camera bump, an off-center logo, and that awkward dual-tone finish. On top of it all, Apple dropped titanium for aluminum while Samsung kept titanium, so from both a durability and premium standpoint, the S25 Ultra is the better looking phone. Now, battery life. Here's where things took a turn. For the first time ever, Apple has actually given the iPhone a bigger battery than Samsung's Ultra phones, 88 mAh more to be exact. That might sound small, but the iPhone 17 Pro Max is going to last longer in real use because iOS is less resource hungry than Android. We saw this last year. The iPhone 16 Pro Max had a smaller battery, yet matched the S25 Ultra in endurance. So with an even larger cell this year, the iPhone should come out ahead. Charging is still faster on Samsung, but Apple improved slightly compared to last year and still offers faster wireless charging and MagSafe, so overall the iPhone wins this round. Next is AI, and honestly, Samsung is leading the way here thanks to its close partnership with Google. Apple on the other hand seems lost. Most of what they announced last year hasn't even shipped, and the features that did arrive don't work nearly as well as Samsung's. The fact that Apple barely mentioned AI during the iPhone 17 keynote just shows they're still behind. Samsung takes the win here without a doubt. Onto displays, Apple pushed brightness up to 3000 nits, beating the S25 Ultra's 2600 nits. They also finally copied what Samsung has been doing for the last 2 years, and that is the anti-reflective coating. But it's not the same corning tech that Samsung uses, which is both tougher and far more effective at cutting reflections. Hearing from folks who has early hands-on impressions, Apple's version is very subtle compared to Samsung's. So while the iPhone can get brighter, Samsung still offers a more practical and better balanced screen. This one's too close, so I'll call it a draw. Now on the performance side, Apple claims the new A19 Pro chip is 40% faster, but early benchmarks suggest only a modest lead. In Geekbench, it's about 15 to 20% ahead of the S25 Ultra in single core and roughly tied in multi-core. But the real issue is the timing. The S25 Ultra is using last year's Snapdragon 8 Elite, while Qualcomm's Snapdragon 8 Elite 2 is dropping next month. Early numbers already show it beating Apple by roughly 20% in multi-core, and that's before it even hits full clock speeds. Once it does, expect scores above 12,000 in multi-core and more than 4,000 in single-core. The upcoming Exynos looks equally strong. Apple used to poke fun at Qualcomm and Samsung for being generations behind, but this time, Apple's the one that's trailing. For now, the iPhone edges out Samsung in CPU performance, but that advantage won't last long. Now cameras. Apple's big move was upgrading the telephoto to 48 megapixels, but they dropped the optical zoom from 5x to 4x. The sensor is 56% bigger than last year's, but still a bit smaller than Samsung's 50 megapixel 5x telephoto. Apple's claim of 8x optical zoom is misleading. It's just digital cropping, not real optical zoom. Samsung's setup is more versatile with its dedicated 3x telephoto, a stronger 5x telephoto, and higher overall megapixel counts. Until we see side-by-side samples, it's tough to say which is better, so we'll leave the camera debate open for now. That said, Apple does score a win on the front camera thanks to its square sensor that lets you shoot landscape selfies without rotating the phone, plus the useful center stage feature. Next, when it comes to standout hardware, the S25 Ultra has the S Pen neatly tucked inside the phone. You may or may not use it, but for those who do, it's a game changer. On the other hand, the iPhone 17 Pro Max doesn't really bring anything special. Apple added a camera button last year, but it turned out to be such a fail that even Apple avoided using it to take photos in their own promo videos. That says it all. This round goes to Samsung. So what's the final word? Look, as much as I dislike Apple's design decisions and marketing tricks, the iPhone 17 Pro Max is still a solid upgrade. It has better battery life, better thermals, a better display, and an improved camera system. But when you stack it against Samsung's best, the S25 Ultra still comes out slightly ahead overall. If you're already in one ecosystem, you're probably not switching just because of this year's phones. Apple fans will love the 17 Pro Max and Samsung users will stand by the S25 Ultra. But for anyone undecided, the best all-round phone between these two is still the S25 Ultra. And yes, I know some of you won't like that take, but that's what the comment section is for. And if you want my full unfiltered thoughts on the iPhone 17 lineup, I've got that video right here, and I'll see you there.